Chosen one, anchor your spirit to what I am about to reveal, because what I uncovered preparing this message made me sit in silence longer than I am comfortable admitting. You did not find this video by accident. The algorithm did not bring you to me. God did. This is a divine appointment scheduled before the foundations of the earth. And the enemy has been working overtime against you because he knows exactly what shifts the moment you receive these words today. I know exactly what the last few months have felt like for you. You wake up at 3 a.m. with a weight on your chest you cannot explain to anyone, while the atmosphere in your home feels heavy with unspoken anxiety. You look at your bank account and feel a familiar sinking sensation. You push through the exhaustion every single day, and you smile for your family. But inside, you are barely holding on under the crushing pressure of endless responsibilities. You work tirelessly in a hustle culture that demands all your energy, but you watch the top 1% attract money and opportunities with zero apparent effort. You see them multiplying their wealth while you are trapped counting pennies just to survive. And deep down, your intuition is screaming that something is incredibly wrong. The advice to just work harder is a massive lie. You have read the motivational books, and you have tried to think and grow rich. You have practiced manifestation and the law of attraction until you felt completely drained. But the wealth never materializes, leaving you feeling like you missed a hidden foundational chapter. You end up chasing money endlessly, constantly wondering why the universe responds to others with total ease while it leaves you struggling in the dark. You feel the heavy burden of generational financial struggle pressing down on your shoulders, and it feels like the financial deck was stacked against you from birth. You are the one trying to break the family curse. But the constant mental fog and anxiety around bills block your intuitive ideas. Your sharp decision-making feels clouded, and your natural ability to attract wealth feels shut down. I am here to tell you that you are not imagining it, and you are not failing because you lack discipline. You are not struggling because you have poor financial planning. The gap between your current reality and the life of total abundance is not a lack of hustle, and it is not a failure to visualize. There is a much deeper reason you have been kept in this specific holding pattern for so long. You believe deeply that you are meant for greatness, and you know you are destined for a life of total abundance to free your family. But you feel like your internal wealth magnet has been forcefully switched off by modern survival. You feel like a luxury sports car running on empty, where the massive potential is there, but the engine is completely starved. This is exactly why the enemy has tried to keep you exhausted. If you are constantly worrying about bills, you cannot step into your billionaire calling. The opposition in your life is not a sign of your weakness, but rather it is absolute proof of your massive potential. The enemy does not waste attacks on people without assignments, meaning your struggle reflects the massive wealth you are meant to steward. Before we dive deeper, I want to plant a very important seed in your mind. There is something hidden from the public, and it is something discovered, not in a motivational book, but inside a highly classified laboratory. It is a biological secret funded by elite billionaires and verified by top-tier neuroscience. This secret finally explains the frustrating gap between the wealth you visualize and the reality you wake up to. The elite are paying lawyers massive fortunes to keep this secret hidden from the middle class, because they want you to stay trapped in the endless cycle of burnout. But a rogue neuroscientist recently leaked a shocking discovery. He refused to let the elite keep this biological cheat code hidden any longer, and I will reveal exactly what this is before we finish today. So I need you to hold this specific question in your spirit right now. What if your financial struggles and the mounting debt are not your fault, and what if it is not a character flaw at all? What if your struggle to attract abundance is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? What if it is simply a sleeping piece of anatomy waiting for the right signal to finally wake up. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly why this season of lack happened. I will expose the massive lie that society has been feeding you about hard work, and I will give you the exact understanding you need to activate your internal wealth receiver. Do not click away. Your future self is waiting on the other side of this exact message, and you owe it to your bloodline to hear this truth. Stay with me until the very last word, because your financial breakthrough is hiding in these next few minutes. If you leave before the end, you walk away from the very thing heaven deposited in you. Lock your attention on my voice right now. That urge to scroll past this message is the enemy trying to keep you poor, so you must resist it. Your true assignment begins right now. But let me reframe your entire reality right now. That financial isolation you have been calling a punishment was never actually a punishment. It was a profound and necessary divine preparation. God did not drain your resources to abandon you. He allowed the stripping so he could completely rebuild your foundation. Your current lack is not evidence of your disqualification, it is absolute evidence of your selection. The enemy does not waste premium attacks on people without premium assignments. The sheer intensity of the financial warfare against your life is proof of the magnitude of your calling. You are not under attack because you did something wrong. You are under heavy attack because you are doing something incredibly right. The darkness is absolutely terrified of what happens when you finally wake up. Think about why the attack is specifically aimed at your finances and your daily energy. If you are exhausted and broke, you cannot fund the kingdom. You cannot pull your family out of generational bondage if you are drowning in massive debt. The enemy knows your DNA is wired for radical generosity. And he knows that if you ever get access to real resources, you will become a massive threat to his system. Look at the powerful story of Joseph for a moment. Before he was put in charge of the wealth of an entire empire, he was stripped of everything and thrown into a dark pit. He experienced total betrayal and crushing isolation. But that pit was not a grave meant to bury him. It was a crucible designed to forge his character. God had to separate him from the familiar to prepare him for the unimaginable. Joseph did not stay in the pit, and you are not going to stay in this financial drought. The isolation taught him how to hear the voice of heaven clearly. He had to learn how to steward his own spirit before he could be trusted to steward the wealth of nations. Your current season of pressure is doing the exact same thing to you. You are being forged in the dark for a massive public victory. You have always felt different from the people around you. You process energy on a level that most people cannot even begin to comprehend. The sensitivity they told you to hide is actually a massive radar, and the depth they called too much is the exact thing that gives your spirit the weight to shift atmospheres. You were never broken. You were simply built for a very different frequency. But here is where the narrative of your journey delves far deeper than most are willing to perceive. Your spirit is willing, but your physical vessel has been compromised by a toxic environment. Decades of chronic stress and anxiety have forced your brain to broadcast a constant survival wave. And you cannot attract a life of abundance while your internal receiver is broadcasting pure fear. The world wants you to believe that working yourself to the bone is the only way out. They glorify the hustle and tell you to sacrifice your peace for a meager paycheck. But heaven operates on an entirely different economic system. In the kingdom, wealth is not aggressively chased down until you collapse. Wealth is naturally attracted to a specific frequency of peace and absolute divine alignment. The elite billionaires understand this vital principle of frequency, even if they use it for their own selfish gain. They do not sweat and panic over their daily bills. They operate from a state of calm expectation and deep biological rest. They know that desperation repels money, while a relaxed mind acts as a powerful vacuum for opportunities. They have mastered the art of receiving effortlessly. This is exactly why all those popular manifestation techniques felt like a massive waste of time. You were trying to paint a beautiful picture on a canvas that was currently on fire. You were doing all the spiritual work, but your biological receiver was completely powered down. You cannot force the universe to hand you millions when your physical brain is trapped in a terrified state of lack. But God is not going to leave you in this state of biological and financial suppression. You were chosen to be a powerful cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. The generational poverty stops with you, and the anxiety over money dies with your generation. Heaven is preparing you to receive a level of wealth that will make your ancestors weep with joy. But first, your receiver must be healed. Once that profound truth clicks into place, everything starts to shift rapidly. The realization that you are not lazy completely destroys the heavy shame you have been carrying. You have simply been operating a high-performance spiritual vehicle with the parking brake securely engaged, and the enemy has been sitting back laughing while you pushed the gas pedal and burned out your precious engine. Coming up in just a moment, I am going to reveal the specific biological parking brake that is holding you back. I will show you exactly how the elite keep this secret hidden and how you can release it without any hard work. But first, this understanding must land deep in your spirit. Settling like bedrock, you must fully accept that your current lack is a biological block, not a spiritual failure. Here is the brutal truth the elite do not want you to know. You have been fed a massive lie about how success actually operates. The reason the universe responds to the top 1% is not because they work harder than you, and it certainly is not because they possess stronger discipline. It is entirely biological. Deep inside your brain is a tiny region called the hippocampus. In the insanely wealthy, this region is thick and highly developed, and it is constantly broadcasting a microscopic frequency that pulls money and luck toward them like a massive vacuum. They do not have to force anything to happen. Wealth simply flows into their lives naturally. But for the average person, the reality is much darker. Because you were not born into an 8-figure family, you inherited a biological disadvantage that science calls a shrunken hippocampus. Instead of broadcasting a wealth frequency, your brain is trapped broadcasting a survival wave. Your natural ability to attract abundance is suppressed. You carry the heavy generational weight of financial struggle on your back. Your parents worried about money, and their parents worried before them, meaning this constant fear biologically wired your brain to expect lack instead of absolute abundance. You have literally inherited a survival wave that shuts down intuitive ideas. The modern world is perfectly designed to keep your brain exactly that way. Every single time you stress over mounting bills, this tiny region shrinks a little more. Exhausting hustle culture pushes your God-given wealth magnet deeper into dormancy because the system feeds on your constant financial anxiety to keep you trapped. They need you terrified, so you will keep working for them. When your hippocampus is shrunken, your decision-making becomes incredibly clouded. You feel completely paralyzed when trying to figure out your next move. Brilliant ideas feel just out of reach, blocked by a thick mental fog. You know you are meant to do great things, but the relentless pressure of simply surviving keeps you locked in a cage you cannot escape. This is exactly why you can read every self-help book with zero results. You are desperately trying to manifest wealth while your internal receiver is completely powered down. You end up chasing money endlessly while the elite let it flow effortlessly, creating a massive biological block, quietly sabotaging your highest potential. They tell you to just think positive thoughts to change your reality, but you cannot simply think your way out of a biological suppression. Trying to use the law of attraction with a shrunken hippocampus is like trying to make a phone call without a signal, and no matter how hard you try, the message never reaches the universe. Most people will go to their graves believing they just did not work hard enough, but you are not most people. And remember the question I asked you to hold earlier. I asked if your struggle was just a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on, and you are about to see that the answer is scientifically proven. The reality is closer than you could ever imagine. There is actually a way to keep this frequency from being dulled by the world. Top-tier neuroscientists have recently discovered a precise acoustic frequency capable of breaking this dormancy. Chosen ones have been using this secret quietly to escape the survival trap, reversing the shrunken hippocampus without any exhausting meditation or forced journaling. I will share more about this specific acoustic tool in a moment, but first, there is another layer to this warfare that you must understand. Because knowing you have a biological block is only half the battle, and the other half is understanding why the enemy targeted your specific bloodline. You are carrying something incredibly dangerous. You were designed to operate on a frequency of pure divine flow. When you are aligned, the right people and opportunities simply gravitate toward you. The enemy saw this massive potential in you before you were even born, and he orchestrated years of trauma to keep you trapped in a lower vibration. He hoped you would eventually just give up entirely. The sensitivity you have carried your whole life makes your nervous system a massive target. The enemy knows that if your hippocampus ever fully activates, your empathic nature will heavily amplify the wealth frequency, and you would become a massive distributor of kingdom wealth. You would not just attract money for yourself, you would bless everyone around you. That is why the isolation had to happen first. If you received massive financial windfalls while surrounded by toxic people, they would have drained you instantly. God had to clear the room before he could hand you the keys to the vault, because your temporary lack was a protective barrier keeping parasites away from your inheritance. And once that profound truth clicks into place, you are ready for the next layer. There is a deeper root operating beneath every season of your life. If you do not see it, you will keep sabotaging the blessings that are trying to reach you. So I will expose this hidden block coming up next. But first, let this truth about your biology settle into your spirit. Here is that deeper root I promised you earlier. The pressure you have been feeling is not a random attack by the universe, because it is a highly intentional and extremely precise process. The enemy wants you to believe the weight is meant to crush you completely. But heaven knows the exact opposite is true. You are in a spiritual forge right now. Think about how precious silver is carefully refined. The silversmith puts the metal into the hottest part of the fire. He wants to burn away all the deep impurities. He does not leave the room when the heat is turned up to the absolute maximum. And he sits and watches the crucible with intense focus until he can see his own reflection. You are in that exact same fire right now. The intense financial pressure was allowed for a very specific reason. God is using the heat to burn away every single limiting belief. He wants to destroy what you inherited from your ancestors. And he is watching you closely until he sees his own abundant nature reflected perfectly in your spirit. We can look at this through another powerful lens. A diamond is created deep underground, under massive amounts of heat. A normal rock would simply turn to dust under that relentless pressure, but a diamond relies on that exact pressure to crystallize. It needs the heavy weight to become something truly unbreakable. The circumstances of your life have been incredibly heavy lately. The financial burdens have felt like thousands of tons pressing down on your chest. But you did not turn to dust under that massive weight. You did not just survive what should have completely broken you, because the intense pressure actually developed you. Your spirit is crystallizing into something brilliant and indestructible. You have been carrying this burden to learn how to handle immense power. Sudden massive wealth is incredibly dangerous to an unprepared vessel. And if heaven handed you millions while you still thought like a victim, the sudden money would totally destroy you. The universe is expanding your internal capacity right now. You cannot pour a massive ocean into a tiny broken teacup. Your season of lack forced you to stretch your faith. You had to rebuild your entire internal foundation from the ground up. You learned how to rely on divine provision when your own strength completely failed you. Now, your vessel is finally ready. You have been walking around feeling tired and completely drained. You thought you were losing your edge or falling behind everyone else, but you have not been failing. You certainly have not been aging. You have been molting. You are exactly like a powerful eagle, shedding its old heavy feathers so it can eventually fly much higher. The old version of you was perfectly equipped for the survival wave, but that version cannot survive the high frequency of the billionaire reality. You had to shed the old mindsets and relationships. They were the exact things keeping you permanently anchored to poverty. And it feels uncomfortable right now because you are standing naked between two totally different identities. The old identity of the struggling survivor is finally dissolving. The new identity of the abundant chosen one is currently being birthed. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in this massive cosmic shift. Do not try to glue your old heavy feathers back on just because the current wind feels a little cold. Let the old version fall away. Every tear you shed in secret was a massive deposit into your spiritual bank account. The universe keeps a strict record of everything you endured. The return on your investment of pain is going to be absolutely staggering, and you are being positioned to receive a massive harvest that will completely wipe out years of brutal struggle. Think of a bow being pulled back by a master archer. The arrow feels the massive tension and the terrifying pull away from its actual target. It feels like it is moving completely backward into the dark. But the archer only pulls the arrow back to create explosive kinetic energy, and this tension is required for a massive forward release. You are that arrow right now in the hands of the divine. Your financial setbacks felt like you were moving entirely in the wrong direction, but heaven was simply creating the necessary tension. God is preparing to launch you into a reality you could never reach on your own. The pullback is officially over. The explosive release is happening right now. This is the part most people completely misunderstand about the chosen path. They see the glorious destination, but they completely ignore the brutal preparation required to actually get there. You were chosen to carry a massive wealth frequency, and this blessing will literally change the entire trajectory of your family line. You had to be tested in the ultimate fire first. But there is still one very subtle snare waiting for you. If you do not recognize this specific trap, you will block the massive harvest right at the finish line. Coming up next, I am going to expose the hidden obstacle inside your own mind. It is the one thing keeping your biological receiver from finally waking up. But first, let this truth settle. The season of preparation is finally coming to a close. You can feel a profound shift in the atmosphere around you. The heavy tension is breaking, and something beautiful is quietly taking its place. Doors that were permanently sealed are suddenly loosening on their hinges. Opportunities that felt impossibly far are moving toward you right now. You are no longer desperately chasing your financial breakthrough. It is already navigating its way to you through the darkness. The universe is responding to the massive spiritual work you just completed. Your internal frequency is rising. But before we go any further, I have to share a breakthrough that changes absolutely everything for your future. There is something the elite billionaires have spent vast fortunes to keep hidden. The ones who profit from your endless hustle do not want you to know this truth. A rogue neuroscientist recently leaked a highly classified discovery. He and his team formerly worked on top-secret CIA experiments, and they found a way to wake up that dormant wealth frequency. They discovered exactly how to rapidly reverse the effects of a shrunken hippocampus, but they did not do it through decades of exhausting meditation. They did not require relentless journaling or waking up at 4 in the morning to force a hustle mindset. They discovered something infinitely simpler and far more powerful for chosen ones like you. It is a precise and perfectly engineered 7-minute sound frequency. When listened to, this specific acoustic wave bypasses your conscious mind entirely. It directly stimulates that tiny region of your brain responsible for attracting wealth. And 4 independent neuroscience labs have already verified this massive biological activation. Researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing this exact brainwave activation right now. They found that once this specific frequency is heard, it forces the brain to stop broadcasting the survival wave. It immediately flips the switch on your natural biological ability to attract massive wealth. It is a completely effortless, at-home ritual. You just need 7 minutes a day to start this massive energetic shift. The biological activation begins the very first time you listen to the frequency. You simply sit back and let the acoustic wave retune your biological receiver. It restores what the harsh world aggressively dulled inside you, and the universe immediately begins to respond to the new signal. I will tell you exactly what this acoustic tool is called. Before this message ends, I will show you how you can access this frequency for yourself. The elite will not be able to keep this biological cheat code hidden from you forever. Your inheritance is waiting to be claimed. But first, there is one final piece of the puzzle you must deeply understand. Knowing that a biological tool exists is only half of the massive equation. The other half involves looking closely at your own internal resistance. Because even when heaven hands you the literal key to the vault, you still have to turn it. Many chosen ones sabotage their own breakthrough right at the finish line without even realizing what they are doing. You have spent so many years surviving in a state of absolute lack. You have normalized the struggle and the constant financial anxiety. Sometimes the familiar pain feels much safer than the unknown reality of massive abundance. And the enemy will use this psychological comfort zone to keep your biological receiver permanently trapped in the off position. If you do not address this subtle inner conflict, the frequency cannot do its full work. You will feel the initial shift, but you will quickly pull yourself back down into the familiar darkness. I am telling you this because I do not want you to miss your arranged harvest. You have endured way too much pain to forfeit the ultimate reward right now. This is the part most spiritual channels will never talk about openly. They promise you magic results without ever confronting the deep inner blocks. But you are a cycle breaker, and you require the absolute truth to fulfill your divine assignment. The wealth you are about to attract will demand a completely different version of you to steward it properly. You are standing at the absolute edge of your new reality right now. The universe has perfectly aligned all the necessary elements for your ultimate victory. The biological tool to activate your mind is officially within your reach. But you have to be willing to drop the heavy armor you have worn your entire life. The new season requires total surrender, so lean in incredibly close, because what I am about to impart next is the cycle-breaking truth. I am going to gently expose the hidden block inside your own mind. The thing quietly blocking your financial breakthrough is not what you initially thought. Before you can hold the wealth frequency permanently, we must clear this final internal hurdle together. But here is the part no one really wants to say out loud, and I say this with nothing but pure love for your journey, because the truth is the only thing that will set you free. The specific thing quietly blocking your massive breakthrough is not the enemy. It is not some external force trying to ruin your life. It is that some quiet part of you has been completely terrified of your own financial power. You have been dimming your massive light to keep everyone else comfortable. You know exactly what happens when you step fully into your abundance. People around you will start to look at you differently. They will project their own deep insecurities onto your massive success, and they will try to make you feel guilty for finally winning. And that thought secretly terrifies the empathic heart beating inside your chest. You have always been the one everyone else leans on for support. You are the quiet anchor holding your entire family together through the endless storms. But if you suddenly become the wealthiest person in your bloodline, that entire familiar dynamic will violently shift overnight. You are subconsciously blocking the wealth because you are deeply afraid of losing your familiar people. This is not an accusation against your beautiful character. This is the exact diagnosis that finally sets your spirit free from the invisible trap. The enemy has used your empathic nature as a weapon against you, convincing your mind that having massive wealth would somehow make you a bad person. He made you believe that staying poor was the only way to remain truly humble. But let me completely destroy that massive lie right now. Your poverty does absolutely nothing to help the people you love. Shrinking yourself does not serve the kingdom of heaven, and it only starves the massive assignment God placed on your life. You cannot pull anyone out of the deep water if you are also actively drowning next to them. You have associated wealth with the toxic greed you see in the world, watching the elite hoard their money and destroy innocent lives. Because your heart is pure, you naturally run away from that toxic energy. But the universe does not want you to become anything like them. Heaven wants to put massive wealth into hands that will actually heal the broken world. Money is simply a magnifying glass for what is already inside your heart. If you are a generous person, money will make you a massive distributor of hope. The wealth frequency does not corrupt a chosen one. It simply gives your divine assignment the massive global reach it actually deserves, empowering you to change the trajectory of your entire family line. You have to stop apologizing for the abundance you are meant to carry. There is another layer to this hidden block that we must expose today. You are deeply afraid of the heavy responsibility that comes with real power. When you are struggling to survive, your only focus is making it through the day. But when you have millions at your disposal, you actually have to step up and build the kingdom. And that level of calling feels incredibly intimidating to a tired mind. You have been hiding behind your financial struggle because it feels so familiar. It is a painful and exhausting reality, but at least you know exactly how to survive it every day. Stepping into a billionaire mindset requires you to completely abandon your old identity as a silent victim. You have to step up and become the powerful visionary you were created to be. I need you to take a deep breath and let this truth wash over you. You are completely safe to receive massive wealth right now. God would not have chosen you for this specific assignment if you were not fully prepared to handle the weight of it. The universe trusts your beautiful heart implicitly with this massive level of resources. You just have to finally learn how to trust yourself. The people who are truly meant to stay in your life will celebrate your rise. They will not be intimidated by your massive financial breakthrough. And the people who slowly fall away were only attached to your brokenness anyway, so their exit is actually a massive blessing in disguise. You cannot lower your divine frequency just to keep broken people comfortable in their own lack. You are standing at the absolute edge of your brand new abundant reality. The biological block in your brain is ready to be completely removed by the frequency tool. And the internal psychological block has now been fully exposed to the healing light. You have literally run out of excuses to stay in this heavy season of lack, because the universe is waiting for your final permission. The tension you feel inside your chest right now is entirely normal. It is the feeling of your old heavy armor finally cracking wide open. The dormant frequency inside your mind is desperately trying to wake up, recognizing the absolute truth in every single word I am speaking today. You are finally ready to stop surviving and start massively thriving. And now comes the pivotal moment where everything in your life shifts forever. The season of brutal preparation is officially complete. Your painful isolation is over, and it is time to actively claim the massive inheritance arranged for you. Get your spirit ready right now, because what we are going to do next will seal your breakthrough permanently. This is your ultimate moment of truth right now. It is not tomorrow, and it is not when you finally feel ready. The perfect time for you is right now. Place your hand on your heart and declare this truth with me out loud. I completely release every single agreement I made with smallness. I release the heavy need to be understood by everyone around me, and I step into my massive divine assignment today. I declare that my financial isolation was preparation and not a punishment. My incredible breakthrough is not coming, because it is already here. I am chosen to carry the wealth frequency for my entire family line, and I walk forward knowing I am exactly where I am supposed to be, because heaven has orchestrated every single step of this brutal journey. The deep question I asked you to hold earlier is finally answered. What if your financial struggle is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant biological frequency? A microscopic wealth attraction frequency is naturally active in the top 1%. It is driven by a thick region of the brain called the hippocampus, and classified CIA. Research confirmed this hidden reality. 4 independent neuroscience labs beautifully verified this biological truth. Brilliant researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing it right now. Dr. Thomas Summers is a rogue neuroscientist who formerly worked on these top-secret experiments. He absolutely refused to let elite billionaires keep this cheat code hidden, so he brought it to the public. He and his dedicated team spent years compressing the clinical protocol into a simple audio track. Before I reveal the name, let me tell you about 2 people who used it. Emma was a tired nurse who felt her family was under a financial curse. But after just 3 days of listening to this frequency, she broke the cycle completely, and she sold her house for way over the asking price. Michael was a former policeman in Florida who used it to scale his struggling business. Within 5 short days, he quadrupled his high-paying clients. He found himself beautifully networking with wealthy elites who put him on television, and that massive success happened because of what Dr. Summers discovered, unlocking the exact biological secret the elite tried to hide. They proudly call this incredible tool the billionaire brainwave. It is not a silly manifestation app, and it is not a generic motivation tape. It is a highly engineered 7-minute binaural sound wave designed to directly stimulate your hippocampus. It pulls your wealth frequency completely out of dormancy, and that is the entirety of the physical work required from you today. You just listen for 7 minutes in the morning with your headphones on. You do not journal endlessly about your dreams. You absolutely do not repeat forced positive affirmations. You simply let the precise frequency rewire your brain to naturally receive. It works flawlessly with what is already inside you, because it simply restores the natural abundance that the harsh world dulled. The billionaire brainwave is strictly for the chosen one, who has already done the deep inner work. It is for the visionary who understands that their lack of wealth is a blocked biological channel. Private sessions to grow your hippocampus cost hundreds of dollars per hour, and elite billionaires invest massive fortunes just to access this exact frequency. What Dr. Summers leaked delivers the exact same neurological shift in 7 minutes. It is beautifully available to you today for a tiny fraction of its true value. It literally costs less than a few cups of simple coffee. And 4 powerful bonuses are also included to support your brand new reality, ensuring you know exactly how to manage the wealth that is coming. You receive a guide to managing massive wealth called the Warren Buffett Pyramid. You get a beautiful breakdown of 7 lazy millionaire habits. You also receive an emergency quick cash audio and a massive collection of 500 billionaire success stories to anchor your mind. But here is the deeper truth about waiting for your breakthrough. The immense wealth and opportunities you have been praying for are already circling you. The massive blessing is not missing at all. Your biological receiver is simply broken, and the chosen one who restores their frequency today finally sees the windfalls. Delaying simply means letting your divine inheritance remain totally invisible. Do not look for this on common streaming platforms. The fake tracks circulating there have zero binaural entrainment technology encoded. They are dangerous fakes meant to distract you completely. The only authentic version is available through the link that has been placed in the description and the pinned comment below. This incredible tool comes with the billionaire, ironclad promise. The beautiful universe requires no financial risk from you today. If you do not experience a physical and undeniable increase in your wealth, every penny is returned without any questions. It is a pure, energetic exchange governed by complete trust. Your secure access is fully waiting in the description and the first pinned comment. But hear my heart on this next vital truth. The tool is absolutely not the final destination. It simply repairs your biological receiver so the massive wealth you visualize can finally materialize in your physical reality. Total abundance is your absolute birthright, and the universe requires no transaction for you to deserve it. What the brilliant researchers built is just one single accelerator. Whether you choose that path or not, let us go deeper. We must prepare your powerful mind for the massive opportunities waiting ahead. The season of brutal preparation is officially complete. You are completely safe now. Everything you endured in the dark was absolutely not wasted. The sleepless nights and the tears you shed in secret were actually preparing you for this exact moment. You are absolutely not the misunderstood one. You are the chosen one. And your life carries a massive meaning that is still beautifully unfolding right in front of your eyes. You are not the same person who started watching this video. The old version of you simply could not have survived this intense cosmic shift. You do not need to look back at the past with heavy regret anymore, because every single painful redirection was actually divine protection. Heaven was simply clearing the room so you could finally breathe. And the heavy molting process is officially over today. You absolutely do not need anyone's permission to step into this massive abundance. Your breakthrough activates the exact moment you finally stop asking the broken world for validation. You are taking your rightful place in the kingdom right now. The people who truly belong in your new season will naturally rise up to meet you there, and you will never have to shrink your massive light for them again. Release every single agreement you ever made with painful delay. Release the toxic lie that you are somehow too much for the world to handle. Your incredible depth is exactly what the universe desperately needs right now. The heavy generational curse of poverty officially stops with your bloodline today. You are becoming the powerful cycle breaker you were always destined to be. I want you to feel a profound peace settling over your spirit right now. Your massive financial breakthrough is absolutely not coming, because it is already here. It is already moving toward you with incredible speed. The lucrative synchronicities that belong to this beautiful season are actively finding their way to your front door. You simply have to keep your internal receiver turned completely on. The massive financial windfalls the universe arranged for you do not arrive out of thin air. They arrive as beautiful opportunities that you will finally be able to recognize. A brain trapped in survival mode completely misses these golden moments, but your restored frequency will naturally pull them in like a powerful magnet. The wealth is already placed directly in your divine path. You have spent your entire life being the strong one for everyone else. You gave your energy away until your own cup was completely dry. But this brand new season is entirely about your own divine restoration. Heaven is about to pour massive resources into your life, so you can finally rest. You are allowed to enjoy the beautiful fruits of your own intense spiritual labor. If your deep intuition gently confirms that the frequency tool described earlier is the missing key to your abundance, the path remains open. The secured link is waiting for you in the description below. That is the absolute final time I will mention it. What remains right now belongs entirely to the sacred sealing of your brand new mindset. The rest of this message is strictly for your spiritual preparation. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, you are going to feel incredibly different. The heavy, crushing weight that used to sit on your chest will be completely gone. You will open your eyes and feel a beautiful sense of calm expectation. You will finally know that the universe is actively working in your massive favor. And you will step out of bed, knowing you are completely protected. The endless days of desperately chasing money are totally over. You are transitioning into a beautiful state of effortless receiving. The universe demands absolutely no exhausting transaction for you to deserve this massive abundance. It is simply your divine birthright as a chosen vessel of light. You just have to stand still and let the incredible blessings finally catch up to you. I see the massive transformation happening inside your spirit right now. Even when no one else in your physical life understands your massive journey, heaven is actively applauding your incredible resilience. The dark world may not have noticed your silent sacrifices, but the divine kept a strict record of every single tear. You are deeply loved, and you are entirely visible to the universe today. Let this profound truth settle into the deepest parts of your weary soul. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. The confusing chapters of your past finally make complete sense when you look at them through the lens of divine preparation. You were meticulously built for this high frequency, and you are finally ready to handle the massive wealth that comes with it. Take one last deep breath and release all the lingering tension in your shoulders. The invisible war for your peace of mind is officially won. Go forward into your brand new abundant reality with total, unshakable confidence. Your beautiful assignment starts right now, and the entire universe is completely backing you up.